Uh, Good afternoon, everybody. Today, in the class, we have to discuss regarding the pest management. Uh, the last class, we have to discuss some principles of eradication, prevention, and all we have to discuss avoidance, exclusion, eradication, prevention. To control the pest means how we have to control the pests in the croplands. Okay. So, right, now today we discuss the remaining the another unit, that is the the another unit, that is the cultural, physiological, and mechanical methods. So how we have to prevent these pests and to control or to manage the management of the pests in the discuss one by one. Okay. So, introduction. An average crop losses due to the pest range between 30 to 60 percentage with the complete crop failure. So occurring if pest attack in sir. So severe here in what happened here around 30 to 60 percentage of the crop improvement will failure due to the pest attack. So these losses will vary according to crop type, climate, and farming practices and other variables. So, hence, it is essential that pests to be controlled that will be damage the crops that is minimized. The concept of pest management was proposed in 1961 by Geyer and Clark. The disease control follows two main principles: prevention and cure. So prevention, we take the prevention, and after the test, we to cure. So here, first one is first principle, the prevention methods. So here, prevention methods are there. So pest managed are prevented by several methods. We have to discuss, that is the preventive or prophylaxis methods and curative methods. Two methods are there. That is the preventive. So these methods gives protection to the host from infection and exposure to the pathogen or pest. Next one is the cultural and mechanical and physiological and regulatory. Fourth one is the genetic. Fifth one is immunity. And another method, that is the curative method. These methods involve the destruction of the pathogen pest after it has gained entry in the host. That is the chemical or biological method. So genetic and biological method, there are the discussing next unit. Now here cultural method. What are the cultural methods are there? We have to discuss. The cultural method generally followed consciously or unconsciously to improve yield of crops by the reducing the pest number. So using a specific method may decrease one pest population while increasing the another. Sometimes this practice may effectively control the pest, but at the same may decrease the yield. Its aim is helping the plant avoid contact with the pathogen, creating environmental conditions unfavorable to the pathogen or pest, or avoiding the favorable ones, and eradicating the or reducing the amount of pathogen or pest in the plants, or either in a plant or in a field or either in area. So plugging of tillage of fields. So this method the minimize the population of insects, disease causing pathogens, weeds, and control the germination and growth of weeds and ratoons, which is the herborous virus. So cultivation, tillage, this approach helps to control the soil inhibition um, from the field crops, um, that is the bringing larvae and pupa onto the soil surface, thereby exposing them to desiccation and predation and freezing and thawing. So damage the pest in the soil, inhibiting the phases, that is the wireworms, and destroying crop residues, which may the arbor pest and could involve in new crops. So, so burying residues, so deep that emergence from eggs or pupa is made impossible. So synchronous planting of the crop fields. This involves the variation in the time of planting or harvesting of crop. This method helps to in the preventing the continuous and expansion of pest population over long period of cropping. It also reduces the migration of pest into the field planted at the latter day. Intercropping method. So planting is various type of different crops with the same area. It is diversifies the habitat availability and may inhibit the expansion of pest and pathogen. Crop rotation. It is the fundamental disease management practice. Growing the same crop in the field year after year encourages the build of the pathogens. If the same crop is grown year after year in the same soil field, the fungus have changes increase very much. So this practice is followed to prevent the growth and expansion of the pest and pathogen population. So soil-borne pathogens infect plants of one or few species, or even families of plants can sometimes be reduced by the soil by planting. For 3 or 4 years, cropping belong to the species or families are not attached, uh, attacked by the particular pathogens. So growing crops to get good yield is not possible unless rotation of crops is the practice or selecting the resistance varieties. Some soil-borne pathogens like Fusarium or Verticillium, they produce long-lived spores are there. So can live on a saprophyte for more than 5 to 6 years. So crop rotation became the less effective or impractical but the crop rotation can still reduce the population of the pathogen in the soil every third or fourth year of the rotation. Pruning or thinning and proper spacing. So pruning is also another method to reduce the pest. So pruning means removing the infected tissues, eliminate a source of infections, material, promote more vigorous plant growth, and increase air circulation helps the disease management. Pruning will help in the increase light and air circulation that they reduce humidity and minimize the infection. Pruning the all the diseased and dead wood will destroy a major portion of this inoculum. Less spraying is necessary when this source of infection has been removed. So judicious and balanced use of fertilizers. So proper fertilizer fertility is another important cultural practice for disease control. So properly fertilized plants are generally more resistant to pest attack than under fertilized or over fertilized plants. So plant nutrition can influence the feeding languidity and richness of pathogens, pest the common fertilizer elements that is nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium have direct and indirect effect on pest suspension. In general, nitrogen is the high concentration causes for increasing the pest resistance. So, on the other hand, the phosphorus and potassium addition is known to reduce the incidence of a certain pest. Example, low phosphorus soil is the wireworm population is often uh, tend to increase. So too much nitrogen will increase the shoot and leaf production and to provide more food for the gall midges. Gall midges. So trimming of means timing of tillage and fertilization. So operations may affect pest favorable or unfavorably. Fertilization promotes rapid growth and sharpness and susceptible. It better tolerance to the opportunity to um, compensate for the pest damage. So trace mineral plant hormone sprayers, example for the seaweed extract, have been found to reduce the damage by certain pests, particularly the sucking pests and aphids and mites. So another method is the water management. So moisture is an important limitation factor that affects the survival of the some pests. So pure means poor soil drainage can create the environment favorable to create the root rot disease. Therefore, to improving the soil structure and drainage can alternate some root rot disease. If sufficient water is available, there is the flooding is occasionally used for the insect and nematodes control. So flooding of the insect soil have been used to eliminate the certain species of biobound with the 3 days. So certain other worm species are unable to withstand desiccation, where these worms occur drying out the soil is the effectively controlled measure. The spacing plants properly in the field are a greenhouse check, highly humidity condition and plant surface and inhibited infection by certain pathogens. The soil sterilization by the physical method like flooding and solar heating, steam or hot water methods helping to kill the or reduce the inoculum to the minimum. In addition, the inoculum transmits through the water, wind, insect, livestock, manure, and also agriculture implements. Hence, sanitization of the storage area, farmyard, and yield is also regarded as a principal method that is preventing the pest and diseases. Disinfecting the agriculture implementation gives high satisfied result. Chemical and other treatment of soil, another practice that helps in the reducing the soil-borne inoculum before the planting. So sanitation consists of all activities aimed at eliminating or reducing the amount of inoculum present in the plant, a field or the warehouses, and it is preventing the spread of the pathogen to other healthy plants and plant products. So generally pathogens over winter or over summer on the leftover of the previous crop in the soil. So weed, perennial posts and seeds. So all these form good source of primary inoculum. The destruction of inoculum is in any form in the important to prevent the pest occurrence. This is the achieved by the removing and burning and buying the refuges. It is destroys the diseased plant material, weeds and insects effectively. Sanitation has broad application applicability. To be most effective, it is requires knowledge of the habitat of the pest species and careful timing it involves. So crop residue destruction. This method is used to reduce pest infection through the removal of breeding and breeding sites. So eradication of the harmful weed, host or alternate to host. Most weeds, rest of the plant pathogenic bacteria, most plant virus in the plant debris, and most insects are killed at the 82 degrees. So heat tolerant weed seeds and some plant virus such as tobacco mosaic virus killed at the or near the boiling point that is between 95 to 100 degrees centigrade. However, the high temperature is also have that is ill effect like raising the toxic leaves and the magnesium salts or either accumulation of ammonium killing nitrifying bacteria. So another timely destruction of crop residues and another application that the cleaning of the field border of alternate post and removal of scrub or shelter in the which is the pest might hide. So example is the Orchard's destruction of full or dropped fruit and population size for the coding, moth and apple maggot and plum Cursillo may be achieved by the means of livestock and suction. Washing hands before handling the certain kinds of plants may reduce the spread of tobacco mosaic virus. The freezing is the infection makes pruning shades used to reduce the spread of the pathogen through these such tools. So washing the soil of farms is the equipment before moving it from one field to another may help to prevent the spread of the many pathogens present in the soil or similarly amount of inoculum and subsequent infections. So another method is mechanical method. To hand destruction and exclusion by barriers. Another method is the use of traps. Mechanical method here and destruction, exclusion by the barriers, and the use of some traps for killing the pests. So traps, what are the traps? Here polythene traps or mulches are useful to control many plant viruses such as the cucumber, mosaic virus is brought into crops such as the pepper by the airborne acid vectors. When the vertical sticky yellow polythene sheet are erected along the edges of the susceptible crops, a considerable number of aphids are attracted to and stick on the plastic. This is done primarily to crop and monitor incoming insects, but some extent it will also reduce the amount of virus inoculums reaching the crop. However, it is reflected aluminum or black, whitish gray or colored polythene sheet are used as mulches between the plants and the rows in the field. So incoming the aphids, thrips, and possible other insect vectors are repelled and whistled away from the field. As a result, several virus carrying and vectors on the plants, the fever plants became infected within the veins virus. So, reflectant muscles, mm, mulches have the space to function so the crop canopy um, cover covers them. So, traps is that also one the method to prevent the So, the trap plants are also used against the nematodes, although in the different way. Some plants that are not actually susceptible to certain secondary plant parasite nematodes produce exudates that is stimulate eggs of these nematodes to hatch. The, the juveniles enter these plants, but they unable to develop into the adults, and eventually they are maybe dead. So such plants are also called trap crops. So by using drop crops, the crop rotation program, the growing can reduce the nematodes population in the soil. So, for example, Clotularia plant trap the juvenile of the root knot nematodes, and the Melodio species, that is the black nightshade plant, Solanum nigrum, reduce the population of the golden nematodes. So such plants like asparagus and marigold, also called antagonistic crops, which are helpful in the controlling the infection and nematodes. So because they are to release the substances in the soil that is toxic to the several plant parasite nematodes. So antagonistic plants is decreases the number of nematodes in the soil. When they enter the planted with the nematodes and susceptible crops in the roots of the susceptible crops. So here another one, the physical method. The physical method, the most commonly used in the controlling the anti-diseases. So and the temperature are either higher and lower, dry air and unfavorable light wavelength and other various types of radiations. So application of heat, hot water treatment, that is the soil is sensitized in the greenhouses, the seed beds with the aerated steam or hot water. So nematodes, water mold and oomycetes to control at the 50 degrees centigrade. Most plant pathogen, fungi and bacteria, some worms, slugs and centipedes, centipedes and mostly killed at the temperature between 60 to 70 degrees. The majority weeds and other plant pathogenic are controlled at about the 80 degrees. Bacteria, most plant virus, the plant debris, and most insects are the killed. Heat tolerant weed seeds and some plant virus, such as the tobacco mosaic virus. The certain seeds, bulbs, and nursery stock infected with the inoculum are prevent inside the seed pods, bulb scales, which is the maybe prevent in the external surface of the wounds in the made free of inoculum with the hot water treatment. Heat treatment with the hot water at 50 degrees for the 11 minutes. Wash used was only the inch of control of many years. The seed is like kept into the hot water. So short hot water, the treatment of melon fruit. Here water is the rains and brushes results in the in significance of reduction of fruit to drying while the remaining fruit quality after prolonged storage. So soil solarization, another method is the soil solarization. So this is the most effective method when the clear polythene in the placed over the moist soil during the sunny summer days. The temperature at the top 5 centimeters of the soil may be reached at 50 to compare to maximum 37 unmulched soil. So if sunny weather the continues for the several days or weeks to increase the soil temperature from the solar heat known as the solarization. So inactivates many soil-borne pathogen, fungi, nematodes, bacteria near the soil surface, thereby reducing the inoculum and the potential for a disease. So exposing of the infected grain to sun. So all grains, legumes and nuts carry a variety and a number of pathogens that can cause decay in the presence of sufficient moisture. This harmful effect can be avoided in the produce and harvested after proper maturity and then they allowed to dry in the air, hot, sunny, and other treatment with the heated air until the moisture content is reduced so sufficiently before the storage. Subsequently, the products are stored under the conditions of ventilation that do not allow build up the moisture to level about 12 percentage that would allow to storage fungi to become activated. So employing the superheating of empty go downs at 50 degrees to kill the um, hibernating stored grain paste in the and also recommended. So especially manipulation the moisture or reducing the moisture content of grains help to prevent from the attack the storage grain pest. So this is also another. So another one is energy light traps. This one is a physical method. So light traps are basically prepared on the principle of moist night flying insects are attacked toward the light source. So light traps are widely used to survey the nocturnal moth. So these are the very effective in the controlling the arm moth and bugs, earthworms, flies, gnats, bollworms, and leaf hopper, plant hopper, and stem borer. So light traps with or without ultraviolet light attack the certain insects. These are the various light traps based on the design and the light source used to light. So light source ranges from simple eye lamp to different electrical source. The light traps also attract the flying and terrestrial insects and lights trap may be combined with the other method. Okay, so that is the physical method. So now coming to the chemical methods, unit number Year 9, we are to discuss about the chemical methods also. So, chemical mechanical methods, there is a chemical methods, different Many chemicals, the products are available that can be used to control the pest. They are called as synthetic pesticides. So pesticides are substance means that attracting, uh, seducing, and destroying any pest. They are the classes of biocides. The most common use of pesticides in the plant protection, the product which in the general protection plants from the damaging the influences such as insects, plant pathogen, weeds, and mollusks, birds, and mammals, fishes, and nematodes and microbes, destroying the property that cause nuisance or spread diseases. So pesticides used in the important control method for the variety of pest pathogens because they are convenient to use to provide quick control and able to reduce the pest population to extremely low levels. In India, 50% of the pesticides are consumed for the cotton and followed by the rice, fruit and vegetables around 14 percentage and plantation crops like cereals and pulses, oil seeds 7 percentage, sugarcane 2 percentage and other 1 percentage. Here there are the chemicals are used to pollute to environment and that is the animals, humans and stuff. So they destroy the beneficial organisms. In addition, the pest pathogens develop resistance towards the pesticides. So pesticides are classified into different categories are there and shown to the table. So this is the some type of pesticides and target pest groups are there. So fungicides. So here in the table they are to discuss the different pesticides and what are the targets here are to discuss. So here fungicides, the fungi and omosities, insecticides, insects and herbicides, the plant, viricides only to control the virus, bactericides, that is the bacteria, nematicides that control the nematodes, algicides that control the algae, and miticides to control the mite, and molluscicides to control the snails, herbicides to control the birds, and rodenticides to control the rodents. So here different pesticides are there. The plant derived pesticides that is the botanical include the pyrethroid and retinoids and nicotinoids and other group include the strychnine and psilocybin, psilocybin. So pesticides commonly means commercially available in the market. So generally they are found in the products with the certain percentage actual pesticides known as the active ingredients. So active ingredients, that compound of pesticide, that is the majority, which is uh, patented and synthesized and registered by the manufacturer. Chemical group or class is the name the given the group of chemicals that are shared in the common biochemical mode of the action and may not be similar chemical structure, chemical name. It is denoted the nomenclature system designed by the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So common name is also that this is the proper name, basic manufacture, that is the active ingredients. This name is provided by the committee either at IUPX, that is International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So trademark also is very important. Trademark is that is the patent name under which is the product is sold to the end user. Different companies sell their name, same products in the different names. So pesticides kill the pest by inhibiting or blocking enzymes and neurotransmitters and hormones and secondary messengers like the various organ systems kill adult pest and prevent growth and development in younger ones. So here fungicides we have to discuss. The fungicides are used to control the disease caused by fungi and the fungi-like organisms. Fungicides work in the variety of, but most of the damage in the fungal cell membrane or interfere with the energy production with the fungal cells, inactivating the critical enzymes or proteins. The first fungicides were discovered in the mid to late Borax mixture were the first fungicides developed in the phase Alexis Miller in the France combined with the copper. So Borax mixture is the fungicide. So fungicides based on their action. So there the name is broad spectrum or narrow spectrum. The fungicides, broad spectrum fungicides can often control wide range of unrelated pathogens. These generally contact with the multi-site actively, but some have the single site active. Example that is the chlorothalonine, mancozeb. These are the broad spectrum. So narrow spectrum fungicides are effective against only few um, closely related pathogens. These commonly have the single site active or often synthetic. Fungicides names may be on the mobility of activity. So contact fungicides, these fungicides the control the diseases by the contact action, that is the applied the surface of prevent the fungi to enter into the tissues and have no after infection activity. So repeated application is the required. A new pathogen is not protected. That the mango jeb, serum and captain, copper oxychloride, so chlorothalonine, etc. These systematic fungicides, uh, these fungicides are absorbed by the plant tissues and treated with the by the whole plant. So systematic fungicides, which is the poison, pollen, and nectar flowers, may be kill bees and other needed pollinators. So fungicides based on the breadth of activity. So single site, the fungicides act to one point in metabolic pathway in the fungus are against the single critical ones. So multiple sites of action, this is the effect on the number of different metabolic sites within the fungus. So fungicides based on their chemical nature and mobility. So fungicides have the uh, protect or systemic activity. The protect fungicides is remain to plant surface and applied prior to the infection. For example, mancozeb, manab, and chlorothalonine, perbendum, and captan, and thyram. So fungicides based on their chemical nature. Inorganic fungicides and organic fungicides are there. So there are the made the copper, sulfur, and carbonate and phosphate, phosphoric and film forming compounds. The most widely used inorganic fungicides contain the copper borax mixture. So, so this copper is the fungicides, fungicide and component of the calcium hydroxide. It is used to reduce the phototoxicity of the chemical. So copper oxychloride is preferred to fungicides. It can be stored more easily and it is less corrosive. Inorganic sulfur compounds include the chemical sulfate and lime sulfur are that is effective fungicides and primarily against that is the powdery mildew. Mm. So here other chemicals are there. So chemicals and different column table and shown to. So here what here group chemical and trade name and the trade name use of the used to control and applied as. So that is the copper compounds. Here chemical names copper oxychloride here 50. So here trade name is the Blitox or Bodox mixture. Downy mildew leaf spots the liquid form we can use it. And sulfur compounds. That is the sulfur compounds here nitrothiabil and dispersed thiops. Carbonate compounds, salts and sodium bicarbonate. That is the black leaf for southern light, blight and green mold. This one also used in the liquid form. The phosphate and phosphonate compounds, monopotassium phosphate or dipotassium phosphate, powdery mildews in the liquid forms we can use the film compounds and formings. And heterocyclic compounds are there. That heterocyclic compounds is the trademark, the captain, leaf spots and fruit rot, fruit crop, vegetable and seed protection for the several crop. The liquid form only we can use it. So improved in broad spectrum, that is the removal of Chipko. Another one is the organic compounds are there, that is the metaxyl, so which is the downy mildews and broad spectrum soil and floral disease. This one also we can use it in the liquid forms. So benzamidetes, so benzoyl carbendamide, that one. So, and organophosphate fungicides, that is the organophosphate fungicide, phosphatidylate A1 and phosphoric acid, pyrimidines, um, triazoles. So miscellaneous systemic, that is chlorobenzene and ethinzol and imazalil. These are some types. So these we can use it in the different fungicides is here, and shown to another um, types of the fungicides also here. This one is also there. I already explained these fungicides. This one also page and